Welcome to Step by Step, the podcast where I break it all down. Life, drama, gossip, and everything in between. I'm your host, Taya, and this is my audio journal, filled with stories, reflections, and the kind of tea you won't find anywhere else. Each episode, we will take it step by step, starting with Monday mindfulness to kickstart your week, diving into the magic of Wednesdays with our main episode, and wrapping up with Your Say Friday, where your stories, questions, and even a little anonymous gossip take center stage. This isn't just my podcast, it's ours. So grab your headphones and take this journey with me, one step at a time. Hello everyone, and welcome to the first official segment of Step by Step podcast. Let me begin by saying thank you. Thank you for tuning in, for your support, and for wanting to hear what I have to share. I am truly grateful. This podcast is my space to reflect, learn, and grow while also sharing my thoughts, wisdom, and life experiences with you. It's for me, it's for my loved ones, it's for anyone out there who might connect with my stories and perspectives, or maybe even learn something along the way. After all, life throws us all similar lemons. We just catch and handle them differently. I mean, even if no one listens to this podcast, I just find comfort in knowing that this podcast serves as my own personal voice journal, a place where I can document my growth and one day look back to see how far I've come. And perhaps in doing so, I'll inspire you to take steps towards your own journey too. So let's speak about my journey. Let's start with a big part of my more recent life, my postpartum fitness journey. During pregnancy, I gained about 30 kilograms all up. That includes the amniotic sac and everything, but still I was eating for two. I was indulging in cravings and constantly making excuses like I'll lose it later or I'm too far gone. The classic damage is done, so I might as well keep eating. I tell myself it didn't matter, but once I started sweating and putting in the effort, I remembered every single Kit Kat and every cheeseburger I had eaten during pregnancy, when I knew I probably shouldn't have. And I think to myself, if I hadn't eaten those, I'd be one step closer to my goal. But here's the thing, I indulged, and there's no shame in that. What matters is that I didn't let those regrets hold me back. The past is the past, and we need to keep moving forward. What matters is starting, even if it's not perfect. I put so much effort and commitment into my weight loss journey that I even shocked myself. So shout out to me because I came so far in such a short amount of time. In 6 months, I was a new and improved version of me pre-pregnancy in so many more ways than just one. I do want to stipulate my belief that I do believe you should enjoy yourself and indulge moderately. Sure, have a chocolate every night, but know when to stop. Don't have the whole pack, and if you don't trust yourself that you will stop, find a healthier alternative. There are so many low-calorie healthy treats these days, and tasty ones too. So just be mindful of it, and if you do eat unhealthy in a day, maybe skip that chocolate that night. If you're waiting for the perfect time to start, let me tell you, there is no perfect time. Stop waiting for Monday. Start today. It's the small, consistent steps that make a difference. The giant leaps are not our friend. There's a quote I'm sure you all know. It's something like, it's about the journey, not the destination. And I have adapted that quote into my own life because small changes lead to big differences. For me, it started with having a vision and a goal that led me to reaching out to a personal trainer. I found Cam from Boss Babe on Instagram. Actually, funnily enough, I follow Bronte from Married at First Sight, and she used her for a booty training program. And when I clicked on her page, I saw that she's a mum. And she was also pregnant at the time. So to me, she felt relatable. She looked fit, and I saw results on the page. I followed her for a bit before realizing her program was all online, and I was like, that's perfect for me. I didn't have to meet up with anyone, and nobody had to assess my posture. And if I was doing everything right, I could do it all at my own pace without pressure of scheduling meetings and whatnot. As a more introverted and new mum, I could work out at home or at the gym, and she held me accountable without overwhelming me. She was also great with customizing my meal plans. I personally prefer to work out at the gym because that's where I have the most motivation. Home for me is relaxing and there are too many distractions. But I know so many people that just want to do it at home because it's easy. Before I started, I had so many doubts about messaging Cam. I had so many doubts about it all in general. But I took the leap and did what was best for me. And I chose to make a step. I chose to start. No one chose for me. At the start of the journey, I doubted myself so much. I told Brenton, my partner, what if I'm wasting my money? What if I fail? What if I don't commit? It felt easier to fail than to try because failing was comfortable. It was what I knew. I committed so many times in the past and didn't follow through on so many things. So I wasn't sure if I'll be able to commit, but I pushed through it. And I'll touch on that a bit more in a minute. But I'm reading a book called Manifest by Roxy Nafusi at the moment. And I already feel a lot of what she talks about, but she just clarifies it for me and helps me to understand my perspective better. It said something along the lines of, we stay in our comfort zones because our brains like what's familiar. But real growth happens when we step outside that comfort. If you stick to your comfort zone, we miss so many opportunities, and even when we take leaps, it feels uncomfortable. But real growth happens when we step outside that comfort. If you stick to your comfort zone, we miss so many opportunities. And even when we take leaps, it feels uncomfortable. So we don't sit in it long enough to actually make it our new normal. We often find ourselves back to where we started, the easy place. But to change, we have to rewire our habits, and change is uncomfortable. When I first began my fitness venture, I wasn't perfect at it. And I went on holiday 2 days after starting the program. I was worried very deeply about how I would stick to it. But I knew in myself that Cam would be watching, especially because I had just joined. So I was setting the pace. I did my workouts on holiday in a cramped little bedroom. My form was off and I felt ridiculous, especially because Brenton, my partner, was there watching. It wasn't perfect, but you know what? I did something. And doing something is always better than doing nothing. I found myself walking around in the same place, pacing the backyard at the end of the night just to get steps. Even when I came back from holiday, I found my habits already changing. Things like parking further away from the entrance at the shopping centre just for the extra few steps so I don't have to pace around later. And also things like taking the bins back down one by one, recycling, and then going back up to get the rubbish instead of dragging them both down at the same time. Any opportunity for a step, I would take it. Cam's program wasn't just about exercise though, it was about mindset. She tweaked the program to fit my life. She let me indulge in a cheese platter, and if I wanted to indulge in something, she customized my diet plan to be able to. Part of Cam's selling point was that she held people accountable, and she held me accountable. But at the end of the day, it was up to me. If I skipped a workout or lied about my steps, the only person really losing out and the only person I was lying to was me. The realization of that was the turning point. I stopped worrying about being perfect and started focusing on consistency. And that's what matters. Even if it's 5 minutes on a treadmill, it's still better than nothing. Progress doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be progress. Having a support system is also so important and makes a huge difference. For me, it was Brenton. There were days that I'd tell him that I was tired and didn't want to go to the gym. Sometimes he'd reassure me that it was okay to rest, but more often than not, I'd find myself showering, getting ready for bed, then changing into my gym clothes and going to do a workout anyway, even if it was 5 minutes. But usually on those days, I had the best workouts. It's okay to take breaks when you're burnt out, rest if you need to, but don't give up entirely, come back to it. I know that I personally feel once I've taken a break or if I've missed the gym for a week or two, I'm like, oh my God, there's no point anymore because I got to start from scratch. But then I'm like, wait. I can hear myself thinking, and I'm like, do you know what? I'm not from square one, and it's way easier to come back from it now than if I wait another week anyway. Then those 2 weeks will turn into 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So during my pregnancy, I ate too much. Too many cheeseburgers and dumplings. I didn't go to the gym since before my pregnancy, so it was all up probably about a year and a bit that I had done nothing. At the start of my pregnancy, I was reaching about 900 steps, and that was because I was so tired that I couldn't physically move. I would wake up in the morning, go out for coffee, be out for 5 minutes, and have to go home and rest my head. I think I gained about 7 kilograms in the first trimester, and people usually gain maybe 1 to 2. Then in the second trimester, I was told to rest as my cervix was too thin and at risk of premature delivery, apparently. So I ate a lot of donuts. I thought I didn't look bloated, so I'll indulge because I just look pregnant. This is the one time that nobody is going to know that I'm bloated. By the time I got to full term and in the third trimester, I was cleared to move. But at this stage, I couldn't even walk up the driveway without being puffed out. And let's not bring up the reflux. When I remember all this, I see how far I really have come in such a short time. 6 months postpartum, I started my program with Boss Babe. And 6 months after I started, I reached my pre-pregnancy weight. Actually, scratch that. I became a better version of myself than I have ever been before. My mindset, my habits, my lifestyle completely changed. Plus, my body is stronger and leaner than ever before. My mind is sharper and my confidence is back. But more importantly, I found out how strong I can be mentally if I choose to. Now, even though I've reached my goal, I don't want to stop. I want to keep improving because this journey isn't just about weight loss. It's about growth, balance, and feeling good in my own skin. And also proving to myself that I am capable, not just of this, but of anything. So here's my message to you. If you take one thing away from this episode, let it be this. Small changes add up. Take one step today, no matter how tiny. You don't have to do it perfectly, but it takes 66 days of consistency to form a habit. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one, just one small thing, and commit to it for 66 days. Even just saying that you're beautiful in the mirror every morning. Maybe walking an extra 1,000 steps a day. Whatever it is, stick to it and watch it become part of your life. Our conscious brain talks to our subconscious constantly, and your subconscious believes everything that your conscious brain says. So you have to trick your brain a little. And of course, this all happens in slow motion as we have to quite literally rewire our brains and our whole belief system. And usually our belief systems have been around for quite a long time. So be patient with yourself and remember, progress is progress. No matter how small, small changes lead to big differences. So thank you so much for listening to my very first episode. And if you enjoyed it, please follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, like and review and share this podcast with anyone who might need a little bit of motivation. If you have any questions or if you want to share your own journey on Fridays, email me at stepbystep_pod@hotmail.com or even just message me on Instagram. I would love to feature your stories, your questions, and any dilemmas that you might have. Even if you got any gossip, send it my way. Let's inspire each other to keep going one step at a time. See you next time.